All right, so picks and bans coming up for game one. Right away, Elise being banned out from the SKT side of things. Bengi also formidable Elise player, but then again, Elise is kind of played by everyone in jungle these days. Not too many jungle choices in the current meta.
No, and especially against Bengi, that's a champion you want to take out. Reignover is a Lee Sin main. However, Bengi did not play Lee Sin even once over the course of Champions Winter. Bengi really favoring Elise and Olaf these days primarily. That's one of the things that was so interesting about Ozone and SK Telecom both making the finals, is that combined their junglers only played Lee Sin one game. Danny played it once. So even though a lot of teams favoring that, the teams that made it the furthest in Champions Winter kind of backed off on the Lee Sin a bit. Sivir going down, Piglet and SK Telecom T1K love to first pick that Sivir. That has been a priority for them. We saw it a couple games in a row in the finals between K and Ozone.
Reignover also currently these days favoring a lot of Olaf when he's playing solo queue games. He's been seeing also playing a lot of Kha'Zix, probably the third most picked champion in the jungle these days. And with the Gragas ban rounding up the ban phase, SKT looking at a possible Thresh taking it away from IM.
Yeah, that's a bit interesting. I mean, Annie's still up here as well, and Lulu actually maybe the pickup. Now, we don't know where that's going. It does fit kind of the profile of champions that Kuro likes to play. Those kind of ranged mages. So I actually think this is probably a mid Lulu, but then again, we talked about Lasha's kind of play style as well. He likes Zyra. He's traditionally liked Lulu a lot. He prefers to have that poking power in the laning phase.
Well, keeping that option open is very good for IM. They get to kind of check things out. A possible Pantheon, most likely jungle these days, being played a lot. They're locked in by Bengi. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, we've seen this, of course, a lot in the EU and NALCS, but a lot of players have been playing it in the Battle Royal as well here in Korea, so that is definitely a champion that has come over from abroad, and we're starting to see more and more of. And there's tons to like about it. He has immense pressure in against the duo lane because of his ability to grant Skyfall behind the duo lane if they push up too far. So he can be very punishing, and his early game ganks on mid lane are also pretty brutal. You flash W in, and that's a hard thing to stop.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with Bekkyo's hair. It's like half frizzy today and half straight.
Bekkyo, I think, is taking the crown of best glasses for a Korean pro. Now that Kakao has ditched his leopard print ones.
Kakao gave that up. Bekkyo now with glasses that cover more than half of his face. But looking at that main, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Bekkyo's that type of main player that has no regard for team comp or enemy picks. He just says, well, I'm best at main, and he makes it happen. He makes the magic happen, so it wouldn't be shocking. Olaf also not surprised. We talked about that earlier. Impact already switched his summoners, by the way, on SKT side to teleport, so most likely going to look at a window here.
Yeah, double globals, very strong. And the other thing we have to look at, too, is that IM2 has intentionally made this Lulu pick very ambiguous. We know Lasha plays it, so just kind of waiting it out. They don't have to commit to a mid-lane Lulu until they see exactly what's going on. Either way, Wild Growth synergizes very well with Shyvana and Olaf, running into the team fight and knocking him up. And there we go. Faker actually may be playing a little bit of Ziggs here today.
Ziggs, not surprising in the current meta, but not something we expect from Faker.
This is Faker's first professional game on Ziggs, I am 99% sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So, it's a bit shocking, and that actually changes the topic to Renekton. SKT promptly switching his summers back to Ignite. I mean, it's Faker, so I have no doubt he can play Ziggs well. It's just he's always favored these super playmaking champions that go in, make a stun happen, or Gragas who can make their explosive cast happen. And with Ziggs, it's a bit more, for Faker's style, a bit passive, you could say.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, is we did see some fancy ribbon plays in the finals, but through most of Champions Winter, Faker was playing Orianna, was playing Gragas, was playing Nidalee. So he really has kind of taken a more laid-back approach, you could say. And you look at this, though, you've got the global from the Ziggs ult, you've got the global from Grand Skyfall. It's a lot of ways to affect other lanes. And you also have just insane siege with Ziggs and Lucian together with some good dive potential from Pantheon and Renekton. So we'll have to watch and see the rotations here from SKT1K, because if they can knock down an early tower, it's going to be very difficult for IM to stop. And there we go, Lasha Zyra is back.
He was looking at Leona. IM both teams used to be known for their Leona play before Mappa and Mata took that up as their main champions. But Zyra, good to see that back. Lasha kind of kicking things off in a zone he's comfortable in.
Yeah, Yeah, Zyra is, of course, worse than she was at Season 3 World Championship due to those nerfs and the changes, which she desperately needed. She was far too powerful, but still viable. She's still in a good place as a situational pick, and if you need to get some harassment off here to prevent yourself from being pushed in. But SK Telecom, they've again, this has been their kind of modus operandi over the past season here of OGN. They really like to press all 3 lanes simultaneously, get deep wards from Bengi, and almost dare the junglers to gank them.
So here we go. Let's look at the picks again. Impact's going to go into the top lane with Renekton, Bengi in the jungle with Pantheon, Faker on Ziggs mid, Piglet carrying as Lucian, and Casper on his very, very famous Thresh support play.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to seeing Faker Ziggs.
Yeah, it should be exciting. On the other side, it's going to be IM2 with Apple in the top lane with Shyvana, Reignover jungling Olaf, Kuro in the mid Lulu, Bedkyo on his very favorite Vayne, and Lasha on his trademark Zyra support play. This is game 1 of day 2 of the LTE-A League of Legends Masters 2014. It's going to be SKT T1 versus IM. Get ready as K, the world champions, face off against the rising stars IM2. Can 2 prove themselves, or is this going to be too hard of a battle? Let's get into the game and find out. So set number 1, T1K versus IM2. SKT T1 gets to start their match on the blue side, so it's going to be K on blue and IM2 on the purple side.
Yeah, Faker starting with barrier this game, a little bit interesting, but apparently concerned a little bit about the harassment that'll be coming out from Lulu. I mean, we look at these early Lulu picks, and she's just fantastic in the mid lane right now. She provides a lot of wave clear, a lot of pressure early on, good harassment. And then by the time you get to the late game, especially with Shyvana and how strong Shyvana is at the moment, and the fact that you can build kind of an earlier Blade of the Ruined King on her when you have Lulu, because when Lulu gets some AP going, her ultimate can give 1,000 HP, which is like more than 2 giant spells. So you can pretty much ditch one of the kind of early tank items that you would normally get and just kind of rely on Sunfire and Blade instead. And by the time you get to that point, Shyvana will just melt your backline. Yes. Looking at IM right here, they're really going to be going hard for the 5v5s. And they've got an incredible late game with this composition. So SK Telecom really is going to need a big lead early because they will 100% be weaker in the late game should it go there without a 5, 7, 8,000 gold lead.
All right, Bedkyo just going to get chased away by Casper. Casper actually going in deep. Doesn't get the hook though. Bedkyo dodges with that tumble. And like you said, the team fight possibilities on IM, it's not just Shyvana going to be running around to the backline. They have Olaf who can't be stopped. He can be melted but not stopped. And then there's Zyra, of course, to disrupt the entire fight with that large AoE knockup.
So talking about what SK Telecom does here, I mentioned this before, but their method of play has been really dedicated to pushing all 3 lanes and forcing tough decisions from the jungler. And you notice they got the early warded blue buff right there, so they know the start from Reignover right here. And they like to pick these lane-dominant champions, Lucian, Thresh, another difficult one for Vayne to deal with, and just shove forward, get a lot of damage on the turrets early, and kind of pick up all the outers at approximately the same time. So we're probably going to see a little bit of that right here, and they need to do that. And IM, if they can play passively and hold on, I think they're going to be in good shape come 25, 30 minutes.
In the mid lane, Faker is hitting almost every one of his Qs, making things a little bit more difficult for Kuro, who, as you talked about, Monty, Lulu's usually the one who wants to get the Poke War started, but Faker isn't giving Kuro a single chance.
Faker, of course, really the king of skill shots. As we say, right as he misses his first bomb, but hitting 3 or 4 of those right in a row. There we go. This is a satchel charge as well. Just constantly spamming those abilities. A little bit low on mana for his Piglet. Going out to ward for just a second, so no worries there.
Oh, actually, a mid lane goes for the flashing knight. One more auto attack. It's not going to happen. The first one goes to Faker and gives him the level up HP to keep him alive. Faker is not amused by that play. He's like, please, what are you thinking, my friend?
Well, Bengi was going to clean that one up regardless, but, you know, Faker didn't even have to use his flash right there, so now he's up in levels, got the first blood, and he's up in summoners, so Kuro trying to be a little bit too fancy in that lane, and he got a little bit barrier baited right there.
Yeah, it looked like he had forgotten about the barrier, just the movement that Lulu showed. Flashed in, ignited, auto attack to the left, and then saw the barrier, turned things around, was late on that move.
So another solo lane kill for Faker. I mean, we've kind of gotten used to seeing this at this point. It's amazing that he can do this against these other skilled Korean mids with such consistency, but that's, you know, what makes him one of the best players, if not the best player in the world.
Ooh, Lasha seems to have misclicked on the wall and gets caught by the hook. Bengi comes in the flash W, as you spoke about, Monty, the stun. Ignite goes down. Piglet, one more on attack. It's actually going to be Casper who takes that kill. Rain over a bit late. Still gets the flash out of Piglet, though, so not waste of time for him.
Yeah, this is what you have to do with this Pantheon. You have to play super aggressively and make that flash count. I mean, if you hit it in a lane with a thresh in it, the follow-up CC is incredibly easy, so nearly a guaranteed kill. So you have to be really careful if your IM2's duo lane right here that you get the necessary wards down, because if you shut down Pantheon early, I mean, he just doesn't do anything really for the rest of the game.
Now Kuro, we just saw in mid, still having a little bit of trouble keeping up in CS because that's what Lulu does, but especially because he started with Flask, you know, didn't have any stats at level 1, now he's 4 behind for the first blood death, and Faker just having the time of his life, as he always does in mid lane.
Well, it's really problematic too because he's going to be able to out-trade due to the MR from the Chalice, and as well as just the magic regen he's going to have, you know, up there in the mid lane, able just to spam those abilities, at least until the second blue buff comes up right here. So he's just in a fantastic position to
just keep doing what he's doing on screen. He's poking away to Kuro and farming away comfortably. And, you know, with Ziggs versus Lulu, if you can stay even equal, you're doing just fine, but he's actually ahead by a little bit. So Faker should be very happy. We saw Rainover looking for a window of opportunity in bot lane, but Casper and Piglet seem to know their timings very well, went back to keep their advantage up with those item buys.
Yeah, you can see Impact as well, up in CS right now in the top lane, already going back and picking up that Giant Spell too. Not actually going, typically Impact likes to go Tiamat into a defensive item, but we're not actually seeing that here, building straight up tanky this time. This is probably a result of the fact that Bengi is going to be significantly less tanky than he normally is because he's playing Pantheon and going for more offensive items. So they're trying to balance out and make sure that they have a front line, but here he comes.
Uh-oh, Kuro needs to watch out. The 6 just hit from Faker, and then 1 spear throw from Pantheon, and that's a kill. Actually jumps right on over to Rainover because Casper's here for backup. And that's another kill for SKT, 4-0 lead right away.
I mean, that was just abusing the recall timing right there from IM number 2, and you know, they saw an opportunity, they'll take it. They're also primed and poised for this dragon, not going to take the risk though. You know, I talked a little bit about SK Telecom T1's, getting a little feisty up here in the top lane.
That jumps back in. Both of them have used their ultimate, so now it's just a battle of bruisers, which results in a lot of not that hurtful basic attacks.
So I talked about this a little bit in my latest version of my show, Rift Review, in regards to SK Telecom's decision making. But you know, we see them back off the dragon right there in spite of, you know, having a shot at it, due to the fact that Betkyo and Lasha were still kind of hanging around. SK Telecom typically doesn't make decisions unless I would say they're at least 80-20. Even if they have a lead, they don't take any real risks. And here we go.
Here comes the Grand Skyfall. Gets the stuff right away onto Rainover and almost full damage on that ultimate too. Gives the kill to Bengi. Kuro in a lot of trouble. Gets the Wild Growth, but it's not going to save him because there's 4 people with a lot of damage. Double kill for Bengi and the blue buff. What an advantage.
Yeah, I mean... They knew they had the advantage right there. Like I was talking about, there are a lot of wards right around that blue buff. As 4-man, they know they had enough time in order to make that play happen. And you know, just continuingly, interestingly, to ignore this dragon just a little bit. It's a little. Now I'm confused, Chobra.
Yeah, I mean, this time they definitely had a wide window, but perhaps want to build up a bit more. I'm not sure what they're worried about, Monty. I'm with you because there's no global skills coming in from the IM side.
Now, there's also no rotation by Apple, and they may just be concerned because they don't have any lenses or pink wards around that buff right now. So instead, they've got a pink ward very deep into Reignover's jungle, easily able to see him. Oh, I want to talk about that. That placement right there of the pink ward is really good, just because you want to put it over on the edge of the brush, because sometimes if they walk on the other side of the brush, they won't actually see that the pink ward is there, and it kind of maximizes your vision around that area as well.
It's so fun to see how these vision changes have created new ward spots. Reignover comes in, but
yeah, Bengi forced to smite that one away right there. Faker using his ult, a little bit of miscommunication from SKTK.
Bottom lane still just kind of a CS war. Vecchio behind a CS, but then again, as we talked about, not something unusual for him. He is able to still carry from behind very well on Vayne.
Faker just blasting himself over there to clear out some creeps. So Apple fighting to get back into this game a little bit. Has picked up a couple of Doran's items here just to get those good raw stats in early on to help out the laning phase.
Now, when Vecchio is able to carry from behind, it's usually because Kuro was dominant in that mid lane, keeping things steady for him and setting up team fights. That's not going to happen so easily for IM this game because they're down 6-0 already. Yeah,
Kuro's already died 3 times as well. You can see he's really far behind on his Athenes right now. Faker's just absolutely manhandling him in the laning phase. Kuro has used Whimsy on himself right there to nice dodge on the Q though.
He is getting used to the patterns from Faker, but it's not stopping Faker doing anything else.
Yeah, well, Faker's 2-0 and 2 at 10 minutes into this game. It's not, I mean, that mid lane is lost right now. Bengi coming into the top lane.
To the top lane. He doesn't hit Apple, but it is going to force Apple to take a long route around to escape. Kuro coming in for backup, but so is Faker. There's the wild growth. Can it save Apple? Apple going for the flash over the wall.
That's fine. You'll trade that Grand Skyfall for a flash every single time. Makes it a lot easier to get some kills in the top lane in just a minute, and a little bit of deep warding from Bengi, what we're used to right there. He sees the pink, isn't taking it out yet though.
Happily going to take rates. Actually, may have just missed the pink. They're too focused on farming those race and then going straight to the top. It's going to be seen by another ward on the way, so Apple backing off. Playing it safe, may just have to actually go all the way. This could easily result in a dive here.
You know, there's kind of 2 schools of thought about that. The question is he trying to bait Reignover up here by leaving the ward there and showing where he's going?
Bengi beats Reignover. It's a 1v1. Reignover does use his ultimate right away, getting a lot of damage onto Bengi. The true damage is hurting. Bengi's still alive, though, gets the level up. Eventually, the flash coming from Kuro gets the kill and the shutdown gold. Kuro should be happy about that. Can impact lift. Great save from Faker with the satchel charge.
Yeah, very nicely done right there. Like I said, difficult to tell. Sometimes in that situation, if you put a ward down and then allow the other ward to see where you're going, you could draw pressure off of another lane. But Casper and Piglet didn't do very much with that. So probably not the case, probably just missing that one. But it's an interesting trick to use, and kind of the mind games that go into something like that are really fun.
Well, that happily brings Kuro back into the game a little bit, gave him the buff too, the blue buff, and then 1 kill and shutdown gold, so he should be able to go back home sometime soon to catch up in items against Faker.
You can see Bengi here, of course, going for his trademark early mobility boots and consumables. This is how this guy plays at all times. You know, he's been the one throwing out those deep wards. He spends a lot of money to make sure that Faker has a very safe and productive laning phase and can, you know, do the things that Faker does to get these solo kills early on and have some good rotation. So he's all about that mobility, always has been.
Yeah, we've seen it very commonly on almost every champion that he plays. Top lane is still just trades going back and forth, and Impact staying ahead in CS. Another ultimate battle it seems, but I don't think that's going to result in any kills. Actually, Impact taking a bit of damage, but not too worried. He has that Sunfire to stay in lane and farm just fine.
Yeah, this is a point where we see Shyvana really start to take off right now, and you know, Shyvana really needs to get some deeper wards. Like Apple needs to start getting some wards and try and around the blue buff right there on the side of SK Telecom, because you know they have to be able to proxy farm a little bit right there. That's one of the things you do to abuse Renekton in the mid game.
Alright, so Dragon goes to IM quite easily. They were not spotted. Meanwhile, on top, Bengi comes in with the Skyball, gets the stun onto Apple. That's a lot of damage. Sunfire chasing through. However, oh, never mind. Burnout was fast, but not fast enough. Bengi gets one last spear throw. Kill onto Apple, so trading that for the Dragon. We saw Faker also moving on up to position himself for a possible ultimate.
Yeah, so just pushing in this tower, though. However, in that situation, knowing where Bengi is, getting the Dragon for effectively free. But, you know, you look at this game, and you kind of look at the comp that SK Telecom is running, and they're not going to have the best Dragon fight early on. You know, they've got Renekton, but they're really built to siege with Lucian and Ziggs and press the tower early with Renekton. So, you know, their disinterested Dragon, I think, is actually fitting for their composition. And a grab onto Lasha.
Nice grab by Casper. Lasha pretty weak right now. That's just what Zyra is. Piglet actually goes in deep.
Beautiful lantern.
And a great lantern from Casper.
Well, this tower's about to go down right now. And oh, well, maybe not. They're pretty reluctant to siege this. They don't know where Reignover is at the moment, so a little bit tentative. They do see Lulu, however, in the mid lane and start taking it up. Now they're coming in, Condemn, knocking Casper back.
Yeah, Casper got aggressive there, uses the minions to get closer. That also just keeps Becchio from farming, so happy to take the slow and waiting for Faker to come in with a Mega Inferno Bomb. Gets some damage onto Becchio. This forces Becchio to back off a little bit and get the tower for SKT T1K.
Great objective play right there. And I talked about this earlier, but this is what SK Telecom does. They push all three lanes hard, and you see all of these towers going down, outers going down at approximately the same time. And that's really the kind of brilliance of their play these days, and what propelled them to that flawless series of wins in Champions Winter was the fact that they would just accrue suddenly like a 3,000 gold lead.
That is a lot of gold. And top lane, another straight of ultimates back and forth, using one at a time. But Impact happy to just push things up. He doesn't need a kill right now. Gets the ward down. He's going to see Reignover right away. So he slices through the wall and gets out.
So Bengi coming back up. It's time for him to deposit some more wards. Maybe finally take out that pink ward.
There it is.
He finally saw it. In this situation, though, doesn't want to stick around to take that one out. Piglet right there. Cover him in the rear. Should he need it. But yeah, if you know that a pink ward is there, and it seemed likely that Bengi just missed it earlier, but take out the pink ward before you green ward.
And Lasha is caught with that stun. Bengi does get caught back, but he's going to live. Actually gets saved by the lantern. Does not get hit by Shabana. Impact comes in with the spun. There's a Mega Inferno Bomb and gets the kill onto Reignover. And now Piglet comes in with the culling, and that's just a lot of free kills for Piglet. But doesn't want to chase through because Lasha comes in from the back as a sacrificial lamb to save his teammates.
Just beautiful team fighting there from SK Telecom. I'm really looking forward to seeing that one again.
Piglet did take a tower in, then the passive hit from Lasha after death.
Very close to going down right there, but the siege is continuing, and just great CC coming in from SK Telecom. Casper looking very impressive so far this game, having good synergy already with Piglet. Now, we talked about his Thresh as really being his bread and butter champion. I'm curious if he's got some moves on other things, but take a look at the start of this. Bengi is just so fed at this point. He nearly 100-0's Lasha. Gets in a little bit of trouble, though. Gets condemned backwards. Look at that lantern. Apple going in. Bengi has to flash out of there, but there's just the bomb going straight in on everything and calling. Look at the Piglet body blocking a little bit for impact right there. Just what a great sense of teamwork and knowing what they have to do, having a good sense of everybody else's positioning as well. Easy cleanup onto Lasha after that one, and Faker taking a couple tower hits, and Tier 2 will go down.
Yeah, great team fight from SKT, and they're just showing right now why they're at the top of the world in the League of Legends professional scene. It's something a little bit new from what we're used to, with especially Bengi being on something like Pantheon rather than Vi, or Elise even, something a bit tankier.
Yeah, but if you're SK Telecom and you are looking to push multiple lanes at the same time, you have to be confident that you're going to win any 2v2 scenario in your solo lanes with the jungler and, against their jungler in your mid, or their jungler in their top lane. So with Pantheon and his early game damage and with the early game itemization, blue buff gets taken right there by Faker, actually managed to grab that one.
Nice steal and a lantern to get out safe from Casper. You know, this really begs the question why Thresh wasn't target banned against Casper.
I agree. I think that if I was IM, I would have targeted some of Casper's more comfortable picks just to see if because you're probably not going to ban out anybody else on SK Telecom. Yeah. So why not go ahead and just kind of push Casper out of his comfort zone a little bit?
We've seen that happen previously whenever a new player was added to the roster. Today IM.
Here's a pick.
Leaving it open. Bedkyo just trying to farm up. Oh, the minion wave comes in though. Casper's still chasing. Play of the Ruin King used to keep that distance. Bedkyo getting some free damage onto Casper.
Yeah, still a good attempt at a pick right there though. You know, you get the blade active out. That's one less tool. A little bit in Vayne's kit. And the vision control just superb from SK Telecom right now. You can see them all converging on this dragon right when it spawns. Grab that and propel themselves to an even larger lead.
Now 4 people ready, Impact going to the top, but Shyvana's not down here either. And no one IM actually is prepared to check on this dragon, just going to give it up. They surely have the timing. Apple just gets maybe 2 or 3 hits on that top tower. Not detrimental. Oh, actually, Casper gets caught. A lot of skills used just to catch the support, and it's not going to happen. Culling comes in with the stun from Bengi. They still haven't caught anyone on IM, though. Bengi still chasing through, gets 1 spear. Can he get another stun? Should be coming off cooldown, but he gets slowed by Lasha, and he's going to have to back off.
Yeah, just a little bit of tinkering around there in the jungle, nothing really, but SK Telecom, they're going to be the ones taking advantage of this, chunking out a couple of members of IM, and with Casper not dying right there, they get the inhibitor turret, back off immediately. They see Shyvana rotating over with a ward deep in the jungle.
Alright, so Impact's just locking Apple up in the top lane. He knows he's way ahead in items now. Apple still hasn't even finished the Sunfire game. Apple is trading.
Not a good situation for Apple. I mean, we're looking at 0 towers and 1 kill here for IM number 2. They are getting absolutely destroyed here at 20 minutes. And the vision control, this is what we come to expect from SK Telecom, but they've got 3 of their 5 pinks down on the map, and about 8 wards in total, a few of them expiring right there. But they're being very careful about watching the rotations too. You can see that ward down right outside the inhibitor in the mid lane. They are able to see the deep rotations going to either top or bottom lane right now. So they have pretty much full knowledge on how IM2 has allocated their champions across the map.
Yeah, just wards in all the important intersections. Faker using that ultimate, relatively low cooldown just to farm up so you can finish some items. Gets that death cap, and it's going to head right back out to the battlefield.
I mean, he's a death cap ahead up on Kuro right now. That's pretty terrifying.
Piglet also farming up just fine, 2-0-5, 200 CS, has had that Trinity Force and now Bloodthirster done for a little bit. IM looking for a possible pick. They know there's no wards there, but no one's coming near.
Way too many wards. They can see everybody rotating over there. You know, it's pretty obvious at this point exactly what's going on. Faker just baiting that out a little bit. And no real threat.
Ward clears coming in from SKT, so playing it very systematically on SKT's side, and IM, I mean, you know, they tried what they had to do. They had to ask for a desperate pick to try to get back to the game. Like you said, Monty, 12-1 deficit in kills and way more in gold. IM just really no other option than to hope for a lucky pick right now.
But SK Telecom just playing this out beautifully. You'll notice that they're not trying to bait Baron at the moment. They're just trying to use that advantage they have in sieging with their composition to push waves. There we go. Faker hitting it spot on to clear the minion wave. And what that's going to do right now is it's going to slow push back out toward the bottom lane. So they've got some time to take the inhibitor turret, or the inhibitor right here, and then maybe the wave will be up at the tier 2 and they can rotate after that.
And everything should go down fairly quickly with that Trinity Force. And Faker now joining. Lots of poke to keep IM zoned. Apple looking for a possible initiation. He does go in, hits 3 people with that dragon, and then comes the Zyra ultimate, but Zyra gets melted right away, eliminated. So is Renekton and Pantheon, though. Casper gets caught. Rainover hitting good axes, and then keeping himself out. Goes in and then back out to keep Piglet and Faker way in the back lines. And
yeah, but the minions took out the inhibitor right there. A little bit of not enough wave clear right there in order to actually save the objective. So in spite of that, IM2 not paying attention to their inhibitor HP, and they had backed off a little sooner. So ultimately right there, they get what they want. Now, Apple getting right into the back line and getting that wild growth on him, a ton of HP. Bengi very squishy right now. Impact just gets totally bursted down by Vecchio and Kuro. He couldn't quite get onto the carries into the back line, and that's part of Renekton's weakness late, is he just has a lot worse of a gap closer than Shyvana, so you can kite him out, especially with Condemn.
Yeah, Vecchio also got a good Condemn on Piglet, kept him stunned to keep him out of the fight. So IM, all in all, played the fight okay, but like you said, Monty, not paying attention to the overall flow of the map and the minions taking out that inhibitor right next to them.
Yeah, that was a little bit sloppy from IM2 right there, and SK Telecom turning their sights now onto Baron. They have a tremendous lead. See if they can bait this one.
Yeah, SK is waiting to see which IM member is going to come in to take out wards. Oh, the grab gets blocked by the plant. Apple is going to be safe for now. Rainover, yeah, don't want to teleport just yet. Going to secure that red for IM. Vecchio surely going to be taking that buff. He can make some more moves happen in those team fights. And they successfully keep SK away from Baron for now, but again, SK also not desperate for a Baron. They just want to push and maybe get a pick as they bait that Baron call. Yeah,
that was just a really brief bait to see if they could catch someone out there. Again, their team composition is not really suited for that. And
Sir is ready. Impact comes in from the back. Faker is going to bait out Apple way away from the team by Rainover gets caught. He has to use his ultimate to run away. Ragnarok keeping him safe. Apple misses his ultimate, but there is the wild growth. Wow, the Inferno Bomb keeps Kuro out of the fight for a little while. Piglet trying to chase her and gets the kill on Delasha. And then Apple with the culling. Vecchio is still untouched, but he can't go in now with no front line to protect him. Kuro does get the kill and shut down on Piglet. Nice snipe as he's backing off. And here comes Grand Skyfall. Bye-bye, Kuro. No escape from that impact of Bengi duo. Oh, the Condemn helps get the kill onto Vecchio. And this is what we were talking about. Vecchio, a tremendous base player, doing what he can to keep his team in the game, but not enough as Faker finally rejoins the team fight.
Yeah, he really had a hard decision right there about who to go with. Probably should have gone to Renekton right there, but Faker just escaping with a sliver of health. And you can see, despite this 10,000, 12,000 now gold lead, the strength of this IM2 composition as we move into the late game, they've really been able to hold on right here. And SK Telecom actually needs this amount of gold to, this difference to close out the game. So yeah, taking a look right here, Faker, ejects himself out of this team fight, which did hurt SK Telecom over the course. Piglet playing this very cautiously. He waits for the Shyvana ultimate to start firing away right there. He didn't want to get caught too far around the corner shooting away at Shyvana and then have them kind of pincher him in the front of the fight. Bengi getting a little damage down right there, and Kuro also.
Yeah, that was a nice snipe by Kuro, just looking at what advantage he can take away, but then here comes the Grand Skyfall, and he knows he's doomed. Nice whimsy, though, and Impact not been there. That actually may have resulted in a kill for him. Vecchio comes back, and Vecchio also dodged the Mega Inferno Bomb, also flashes out of the box right before it initiates onto him, so escapes the damage. Just showing the high mechanical skill. There he is, looking just, we're just regretting just how far this game has gone, because he knows had he had one more item, he may have actually gotten a double kill there.
He is getting close to Phantom Dancer right now, but he is pretty darn far behind, as we can see. It is a bit interesting that Bengi has gone for Bloodthirster afterwards. I really don't think this is an optimal Pantheon build. You kind of want some tankiness. You get the Spirit of the Elder Lizard, you get the Brutalizer. Go ahead and build the Randuins after that, but I think that Bengi just knows how far ahead he is, and he wants to get those sweet, sweet kills at this point.
Bengi's sick of being the meat shield, man. Just wants them kills. Has swapped roles with Impact, essentially.
Well, I mean, for being this far up, for having 50k gold here at 27 minutes, and the fact that nobody on this team has a Randuins against Vayne, maybe not the best itemization we've ever seen from SK Telecom.
Yeah, I mean, Vecchio, once again, he doesn't have that many kills, but he's making the right plays, given the situation of team fights even before, dodging that Inferno Bomb, and just hitting whoever he can hit freely with Renekton at the time.
And now Kuro moving into that Lich Bane second. There are lots of different build paths you can go on Lulu, but of course most of them include that Lich Bane somewhere along the line just because she is so good at pushing, and that actually allows her to take towers with nice efficiency. Faker up nearly 100 CS, as we can see right there. 6-0-6 on Ziggs.
Void Staff and a Haunting Guide after that death cap. So much AP. We saw him doing a lot of damage to Apple just a bit earlier. Apple also doesn't have that much MR right now, so.
He's 3,000 gold up on Kuro, so.
Fine.
Pretty intense. And they're trying to do a little bit of Baron baiting here again. We'll see how committed to it they are this time. Bengi actually starting it.
Yep, so he has the damage. Piglet also there, but they're going to have to back off as they see IM grouping up. They don't want to get involved in a poke war that they can't.
They really don't want to do this Baron, I don't think. Like, this is dangerous even with their lead.
Now Lasha's looking for a good ultimate to start off the fight. He tries to go for the snare, doesn't get anyone. Inferno Bomb actually destroys Bekyo. That's a free fight for SKT, as Bekyo was the only real damage coming out for IM. SKT's just going to chase away everyone. Gets the Baron alone by Bengi as he finishes off that buff. Apple gets caught by Impact, and now it's just going to be a slaughterfest for a free push. SKT actually is splitting off, trying to decide what to do. Here comes the Grand Skyfall. He is going to land on top of both of them. Gets the stun onto Apple. Apple barely escapes, though, as he initiates his ult during that jump, but he still can't teleport back as Piglet is bloodthirsty for this kill.
Well, you know, I take back everything I say if you can just instantly blow up Vayne, so ceases to matter at that point.
This is an interesting 2v2 as Kuro comes in to join and gets destroyed by Casper, and Piglet now just putting out damage, uses barrier, gets the kill for SKT.
You mean Casper gets a double kill?
Oh, Casper actually gets the double kill, wow. Well then. And Lasha gets destroyed again. So LeBlanc's not the only one that Faker has to use to instantly eliminate one person.
Of course, Faker, the ultimate bane of support players.
But that just shows how much, how many items he has. Vayne earlier got melted with one combo. Now Lasha.
Amazing. I really want to see that again. It was kind of on the edge of the screen, so I didn't get a good look at it the first time, but of course, impressive play. And as a reminder, this is Faker's first pro game on Ziggs that we're looking at right here, which is pretty ridiculous. I mean, this guy known for just debuting a champion and then immediately stomping on it.
Oh, a nice hook from Casper. Forces the flash away from Apple, and K right now, they're just willing to zone them out and push in these Nexus towers. They have the Baron buff, so Faker even willing to take some hits, so Piglet can finish off one of the towers at the Nexus, just clearing out the minions before they even come out. Now going to that second tower. I am going to put up one last fight, a nice wild growth, and then Zyra ultimate following up. No damage done by it though. Culling gets Bekyo out again, and that's just the end of the game for IM. Without Bekyo, they really don't have an answer. Oh, wow, look at the damage coming out from Faker against Shyvana. There is the game. So game one goes to T1K. Not necessarily a shocking result, and really, I think it all goes back to the very beginning when Kuro was shut down in mid. It closed a lot of the doors for IM on how they usually make it back into the late game.
Now, 27 kills for SK Telecom in 31 minutes. They were just incredibly aggressive this game, using Bengi's Pantheon really quite nicely. And Faker,
the damage dealt champions. Faker at 30,000 damage, 10K ahead of anyone else, which was actually Shyvana doing the next most damage.
Just crazy. I mean, if you look at that, Lucian, Piglet only did less than 20K, so Faker just absolutely destroying that game.
Yeah, Kuro doesn't look too sad though. He knows just, he got harassed too hard early in the game, trying to do what he could later for the team. But SKT T1K is showing that they're still the best, even with a new player, which is Casper the support, and he's proven himself at least on Thresh.
Yeah, I mean, he had a good game. A little bit of positional errors with the rest of the team. Looked like he's not quite comfortable in terms of calm yet. A little bit of out of place at times, but his Thresh mechanics look solid, and he peeled very nicely for Piglet and Faker with the box.
All right, well, that's game one. We will be back with game two after a short break. That's going to be SKT T1S versus IM number one. Two teams who have had a long break away from the Yongsan Esports Stadium, so they're waiting for their chance to shine. Can IM bring it back to a 1-1 to go into the Masters match in a tie, or are they going to get crushed 2-0, leading to a possible 3-0 victory for SK Telecom T1 in this day 2 of Masters 2014 from On Game Net. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this break.